one thing that I take out of the election is the fact that Nigerians in Osun, citizens and voters mobilized themselves and they ensured that those votes counted. Regardless of the kinds of things that happened there, you will see videos online that people rejected 50,000 that was given to voters in order to buy their votes so that they can vote for the APC. And I will say this unequivocally, that the APC wanted to buy votes. Even the driver that brought us to Abuja, to Lagos, was like, my polling unit, somebody came there with 1 million and he was offering us 50,000 and we refused to take the money. And those people who took the money didn't vote for their party. So clearly we need to state that. So that happened, but it didn't affect the overall outcome of the elections. But what was intriguing this morning, and I witnessed it, with my colleague, we got to where we wanted to get a vehicle to come back to Abuja. To come back to Lagos. I keep mentioning Abuja, so that we can go back to our various destinations. And then there was jubilation in the whole city. Everybody was happy, and you never would expect that anything can go wrong. So we were by the park trying to hire a vehicle to come to Lagos, when in the midst of the jubilations, some guys, some thugs came and ran to where we were and the vehicle that we had already hired, and tried to struggle to get to take charge of the vehicle. And we're just 3 of us in the vehicle. And then the next thing, there was a gunshot fired towards our direction and everybody dispersed.
Oh, wow.
So I told the driver, let us run. So as he was about to move the vehicle, that was when one of the thugs came and started struggling the vehicle with us. And then my colleague's bag fell off and we couldn't retrieve the bag and we drove off. So he obviously was, being dragged by the vehicle. So he left and then we drove off. And this happened in a place called Aregbe Park, opposite the ADC Secretariat, So then we went away and told the driver to come back and see if he can retrieve the box. And by the time he walked back and he left the vehicle with us, he walked back and the bag or the box was no longer there, but there was that whole area was bloodied, where we were parked. And then it begs the question as to what could have gone wrong, Could it be that? Yeah.
And I want to get back to you on that, because there's so much to discuss about the role of security agencies during the election itself. But you pointed out something that I found very interesting, which is also what I sense is the general mood, that on election day things went as smoothly as they could, save for 1 or 2 discrepancies here and there. And Justice, I want to bring you on here now. Is that also your assessment? Because people are actually giving INEC a pat on the back for this outing. Do you give them one too?
Well, I will hold back my flower for INEC for now, because over time we've seen something like this play off. When the main election, the 2027, is coming forward, that is when I will give them their flower. But for now, my confidence for INEC or giving them their flower, I will say in a bouquet of 10, I will just give them 5 for now and hold on 5. Until 2027, I can return the remaining 5 to them.
Listen, if you follow INEC's antecedents, I'm pretty positive they wouldn't mind half a score for now. But it's a good point that you've made, that we do need to look at how this particular election sets us up for what's coming in 2027. And that's why I'd like to bring you back on, because we're building up to several issues that arose during the course of the election. One of the interesting points I found out from was when the governor who won, Governor Deleke, was giving his post-victory press conference. He mentioned that he was very happy with the conduct of the people who came out to vote, and he was also happy with the president, and he reaffirmed his endorsement of President Tinubu for a second term. And a lot of commentators found that interesting. Is that what happens now in opposition states, where the person who's trying to get re-elected has to sort of endorse what's going on at federal level so as not to have the weight of federal might imposed on his state? Is that a play that people are moving?
I found the remarks by the governor and governor-elect quite uncharitable. He didn't win that election. It was the Osun people who won that election for him. So the victory is not his victory. You know, it's the victory of Osun people, and you don't treat Osun people with that level of disdain, because those votes don't belong to him. If we look at Osun State historically, in 2011, Osun State went to AC, that was Nuhu Ribadu, with over 1 million votes. In 2015, PDP was in power. Osun State went to Muhammadu Buhari. In 2019, APC was in power. Osun State went to PDP. In 2023, APC was in power. Osun State went to PDP. So Osun is a very dynamic state, coupled with the fact that they've got a lot of big ex-national bigwigs in Osun State. So you talk about the likes of the former Minister of Police Affairs, Patricia Ete is there, Oluwole Oke has been playing nationally, Yola Omishore plays nationally as well. There are a lot of Olagose Inola was military administrator. So there are a lot of big names in Osun State who have different interests. And now, if the people, despite the fact that all these gladiators came against you, they gathered against you as a sitting governor, and they pooled resources, pooled the federal might. Every local government in Osun State had one commissioner of police supervising that election. They had 15,000 policemen on ground. They had assistant commissioners of police on ground, AIG and DIGs. Then we've not even talked about the National Civil Defense Corps, who were on ground to muzzle that election and get it from you. And then the people resisted. People died because of you. And then you now wake up and say the party that they rejected, right? You are now going to take their mandates and give it to that party. I think it's very uncharitable statement to make, and taking the people's will for granted. And I've seen some comments from Osun people telling him and also warning him to say that, hey, those votes that we gave to you don't belong to you. Osun's votes are Osun's votes. They are not APC votes. And come 2027 election, I hope we'll see what happens if they are going to surprise him. But I don't think that for a party who have rejected the ruling party in your state and in your favor, the best way to say thank you and be grateful to them is not for you to reward them with that kind of statement. It is it is disdainful to me, to be honest.